Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Diatribes from the Voice of Doom. Now, here's your host once again. A warm welcome for the Voice of Doom. Alright, thanks for that lovely reception. Appreciate it. I'm going to do another segment since I'm still up. Continue with the history of war. Probably won't be able to do everything in one segment, but I'll do what I can. I want to do the history of war, and then I want to do my opinion on what the next war is going to be, and then I'll give a few solutions on how to solve or get rid of war once and for all, but we'll save that for the end. So, I'm going to go backwards. I hope you saw the first segment, but hopefully everything kind of can stand alone. But this is part 2 of the segment on the history of war. And I'm going to backtrack a bit and go back to World War II because there's a few things I needed to say about that. I don't really need to say it, but I'll say it anyway. Probably shouldn't even say it. Not bother. History is written by the victor. I always heard that. And not only is the history written by the victor, but I mean, it's passed down and it's passed around so that everybody has the same so-called truth. And yeah, we won World War II. But it's not true that we won because of the atom bomb. I mean, everybody likes to think that. So much time and effort into making these super weapons, you know, these infernos, and it probably wasn't the reason that Japan surrendered, even though they probably would have anyway. But most people don't believe it, so I don't even know why bother. And the fact of the matter is that everything happened like in a week. I mean, 2 or 3 weeks between the end of European War and the Japan War, Pacific War, whatever. Everything was happening fast, and we had carpet bombed and fire bombed Japan into oblivion, into a pancake, so they might not even noticed when those bombs hit. I mean, not the whole, the whole country, it's not the 21st century, it's like the whole town is obliterated, and it's like, the whole country's obliterated. They didn't think of it, they should have quit right then when Hiroshima was bombed, but no. So Truman says this saber rattling, which is kind of putting it mildly. It's like they dropped another bomb, but see, what happened was that the Soviet Union had beaten Germany. They declared war on Japan like a day or two earlier. And Japan's sitting there going, we're doomed. We're not going to fight to the last man. That's not going to happen. And we cannot let this go on and be overrun by the Soviet Union because it's going to be a race to see who, swallows us up first. So they came to their senses and said, who are we going to surrender to, the Soviet Union or the America? And it's like, let's take America. I mean, we've got a gut feeling America might be a better way to go. And the rest is history, but I just thought I'd put that to rest about. I heard that from a bunch of Japanese soldiers I talked to. At any rate, I don't know why I even said that, because everybody's going to get all pissed off, but, I don't have a desk or a suit, so, just take it for what it's worth. Different opinion. We still won the war. We still blew the living crap out of them. You can't take anything, you can't take that away from us. But there's different interpretations of why things happen. Life isn't as simple as everybody thinks. It's obvious. Okay, so let's go on with the history of war. A little political stuff I kind of discovered. Just got into communism, and I was an anarchist, and I started looking at things differently and reading different opinions and this and that, and it really dawned on me that a lot of the stuff they're saying is true. I mean, it's a stupid idea. Communism is asinine. Not going to work. Socialism, whatever. But some things did open my eyes, and one of those things is, it seems to me like, say your house is, obliterated by a hurricane, and all that's left is a pile of rubble. Now, it seemed to me that the logical thing to do would be to clear away all the rubble and say, I'm going to rebuild the house, build it back better, whatever, stupid slogan, idiot. So what are you going to do? Are you going to clear away the rubble and build a better house on that lot that you, after it's destroyed, or are you going to build your house out of the rubble? So that's what our stalwart leaders did in 1945. Really, really bright. Bright guys. Well, they were bright. They knew what they were doing, but it didn't do us any good. I think these bright guys, and they're not presidents, they're the freaking aides and the advisors and stuff, and guys in the background. These guys make the decisions, your bankers like Mellon, and your guys like Dulles, and those guys, those sinister people. So it probably dawned on them, this is a light bulb go off in my head. Just got a brilliant idea. Hey, Alan Dulles. What's up, John Foster? I got a great idea. Instead of having ups and downs of all these things that go on in the country all the time with depressions and inflation and this and that, we'll just stabilize the economy by, constantly having wars and having to make military hardware and pay for people to fight the wars. And we'll have to build lots of factories to build these weapons, and that'll hire lots of people. And the economy will be stabilized for eternity. Everything's solved. We'll simply base our economy on perpetual war. It's a real good idea. It works out really well when you can just dip into the coffer and keep giving the defense, $350, $400 billion every year. And, a few other things. We might have put a rocket up into space or whatever, but come on, Northrop, Rockwell, TRW, all those companies, they're all, Eisenhower said it, right in Korea when he said it, and we were in another war, and he's like, you got to be aware of the military-industrial complex. It's like 5-star general, he won the war in Europe, president for 8 years, and then he comes on and says, you got to be aware of the military-industrial complex. And it's like, well, this is probably the last honest thing the president said, for the most part. But the point is he said, and it happened, and we've been basing our economy on war ever since, and we're going to pay the price. Because cause and effect is very strict. And I don't even like to think about the retribution unless we really work fast to change things. It's going to be hard. I'm not even through. I'm going backwards. I already talked about Vietnam in the last segment. Now I'm back at World War II. So then what happened? Little skirmishes here and there. A few buildings blow up here and blow up there. Wars and rumors of wars and a bunch of belligerent jerks. And sometimes we take care of business with a few airstrikes, and it just goes on. Korea, you got Vietnam, you got Bosnia, you got Iraq 1 and Iraq 2, and that was a big brouhaha, because it's like the conservatives want war, the liberals want war. I don't even know who wants to even go to war, but apparently there's a reason to go to war. And it's, well, he's a dictator and he has all these sophisticated weapons that can wreak havoc, weapons of mass destruction. I always like it when people argue about that, because they always say, oh, what a lie. George W. Bush, liar of all time. Hussein was a weapon of mass destruction. His mere existence was a WDM, WMD, or whatever the hell you who cares? He hit the bombs. He might have had the bombs. It doesn't matter. He's the guy that's the weapon. Get rid of him. Never mind the tanks. So, and the buildings came down. And I think that everyone can agree, almost wholeheartedly and unanimously, only the most rabid anti-war pacifist is going to say we're going to turn the other cheek. Now, that was really bad. That was really, really bad. I don't know how many people were alive or sentient enough to know September 11th, but it was really bad. Really bad. And we had to do something about it. Now, what we did is we decided which country was harboring these fiends, which weren't really the fiends that did the bombing, but that's kind of confusing because most of the bombers came from Egypt and Saudi Arabia, but the Al-Qaeda was in Afghanistan, so it seems a little muddled to me. But we had to do something, and I was all for bombing them back to the Stone Age, but since they were already in the Stone Age, we had to do something a little different. And so we muddled around in there for 20 years, got rid of the Taliban, got rid of Osama bin, whatever the hell, and now the troops are coming home. Hip hip hooray, it's great, we're out of that war. It's just unfortunate that the Taliban's holding the door as they're leaving. It's really, I don't know, do I say that we didn't accomplish anything? I know I probably shouldn't say that. It's really wrong of me to insinuate that, we wasted our blood and treasure and didn't accomplish anything because they're coming back and they're going to take over and everybody knows it. Everybody, anybody with half a brain knows that the Taliban are going to be in Kabul 2 seconds after the last plane leaves. Might even be there before then. I'll be surprised if they do something really humiliating. So, I don't hope for the worst, but I just don't know if we really accomplished anything. So we had the ISIS, and that was a big mess. The aftermath of another war that we were in. That festered for a while until somebody came along and did something about it. That took about, a month or two? So if you want to, fight a war, fight it. Get rid of them. Collateral damage, oh well. We tried to warn people in World War II. Sure, we try to warn people, in every war we do. We're not just going to blatantly kill everybody, but, sometimes you just have to get real draconian. And everybody there has their own karma, so if they're a bystander and they get blown up, it's because that's the way, that's their past causes that led them to that. And maybe next time things will be different. But you can't just pussyfoot around. What kind of war is this, Afghanistan or whatever they were fighting? They're like, oh, the enemy's shooting at us. Should we return fire? Let me get on the radio and call headquarters. So headquarters they're shooting at us. Should we shoot back? And the headquarters, well, let me call the lawyers in D.C. and see if it's legal. I don't know. Where are you? What do they look like? How are they dressed? I mean, I guess I'm the only one who sees that that's madness, idiocy, fools. I mean, I'd be pissed if I was a soldier, it's not a matter of, we have to respect the war because of the soldier. I mean, that doesn't make sense. I mean, the soldier is there, so we must respect it. Respect the war. I mean, I'd be pissed. I mean, go through all that crap, and it's like, what? It's no different. They might even be bigger than they were before. Who knows? Well, we got rid of Al-Qaeda. Well, that was 20 years ago. It's a whole new generation. Come on, dumb idiots. that kind of brings us to the present day, more or less. So it's been 15 minutes. I can't get to my other stuff unless you want to actually watch for like 2 or 3 more minutes. I can make another segment because it's kind of got some interesting thoughts. So my next segment, I'll talk about what our next war is going to be. By that time, everybody will hate my guts, so then I don't have to worry about anything after that. It'll probably be banned. Everybody's going to hate what I have to say. And I'll also finish with the segment of how to end war once and for all. So that should be pretty exciting. I'll sign off for now. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks.